Hi, I'm on to the channel. It's been in my head recently that Haaland, I guess, he's scored quite a lot of goals this season, and I was thinking, well, we bought Gyökeres, can he emulate what he was doing for Sporting the few seasons he was there? And I mean, I was looking at the shooting stats and so far this season, and I guess short answer, no. I don't think he can. Ultimately, I don't think he's gonna have a bad season. Maybe he'll get like around 20 goals. I hope I'm wrong, but because from what I'm seeing, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Now, ultimately, I guess as well saying, I said ultimately again, but really, I just want to win the league. So Gabriel could score 30 goals this season, all headers, hat-trick for headers every game, and we win the league. I don't care. I don't care. As long as we win, then that's the main thing. But when you when you look at the stats, you ultimately see that it's the third time. You see that City play for Haaland, so I'll go into the stats later, but they will. It looks like just looking at shooting stats now. I mean, I'm not data scientist, statistician, stuff like that. So I'm just looking at shooting stats, but there's so many other stats you can look at. So I'm probably maybe I'm missing something here. But you just look at shooting stats alone. I mean, look at City. They play for Haaland to have loads of shots, or maybe he's just that good that he creates loads of shots for himself. It's probably a bit of both. And when you look at Arsenal stats so far this season, we don't do that. It's spread across the team. So how can we expect Gyökeres to get Haaland level goals or like he's doing with Sporting if we're not playing to him to have loads of shots? Um, because Sporting kind of were doing when Gyökeres was there, Sporting was kind of playing for Gyökeres to have loads of shots. When you look at their shooting stats at the time he was there, and you look at City, and that's what's happening there. But Arsenal, we're not doing that. It's kind of spread across the team. So I guess there's a readjustment of expectations there. But we bought these attacking options to change some of the results that we had last season so we can win the league. Is we drew loads of games last season, 14. So, and it's how are we going to utilize them the best when we're just playing like how we did last season with shooting stats? Because I looked last season and this is very similar to how it looks this season. Just looks spread across some plays. Yes, he has shot the most, had most shooting chances, but it's we're not. I feel like we could be utilizing a bit more. We'll talk about that a bit later. But talking about the drawing of games last season, we drew a lot of games in the end of last season, but that was kind of expected because the title was already over by then. So I'm not too fussed about those because I think we're maybe focusing on the Champions League as well. But in the middle of the season, last season, there was some draws in there that we shouldn't have really happened. So you think, okay, we've got these attacking options to score more goals, change those draws to wins, but we're not really utilizing the key striker we've bought to get the opportunities. But I mean, like I said before, like ultimately I don't care who scores them. Gabriel could score all the goals, but maybe we need to get him scoring more. So I mean, just to go over the games that we drew last season, and then I'll get onto the shooting stats. I'm talking about in the middle of the season, which we're going to come up to now. So game week 9 drew against Liverpool. Okay, fair enough, good result. Chelsea game week 11 we drew. I don't know, nowadays I think we're better than Chelsea, so I think we have been for a while as well. But I look at Chelsea games, I think we should be winning them now. In the past, didn't really feel that way. Fulham game week 15, we drew that, so that should be a win, and they're the next game I think as well. So Everton game week 16 and Brighton game week 20, and then just looking at the lost games in the middle period was Bournemouth game week 8. Should be changing that, and then Newcastle game week 10, and we've shown recently we have changed that. Yeah, I mean, logically, we'd think we've got this striker, he's got a boatload of goals for Sporting, and I don't know, I think like if you just look at it in simple terms, you think, okay, well, we've we've sorted that now. Let's cross that off the to-do list. Get a guy who can score loads of goals, but we're not playing like how City play for Haaland, so you have to readjust your expectations, and then maybe he makes a difference in a couple of games, and that wins us the league, so that's great, but after just looking at the shooting stats, and again, it might be silly just to look at one set of stats now talking about it, but my expectation now after looking at it is not to expect him to be scoring 30 goals. It's to score maybe around 20. Um, Before I get into looking at shooting stats, so let me just get my mouse over here. So I was looking at I think it's FB Ref website, and they say Arsenal have had 105 shots so far this season. But then you go on the Premier League website and it's 58. It's a mad, mad. There's always like double size difference there. But it's a and I think they both look at the Opta database. So like maybe I don't know, but maybe the Premier League don't count block shots, don't count penalties. I don't know, but I thought it was odd. It's such a big difference. But I went off the FB Ref, those stats because I wanted to like get the biggest number, just kind of get, I guess, go off like um the most amount of shots to get the most amount of data there. Yeah. So looking at Arsenal stats so far this season, just in terms of shooting, we've had 105, 27 on target, and 14 goals. Gyökeres has had 14 shots, which is the most, but he's joint highest with Calafiori. Um, That's mad. Second is Eze with 11. Timber's third. And uh yeah, Timber's third with 9. And Saka is fifth with 8. Sorry, yeah. So it's fourth. Sorry, fourth with 8. Stupid notes. And Man City. So this is where it makes sense what I was saying earlier. They've had 86 shots this season, so it's not a lot. But um, Haaland has had 29 of those shots, which is like double than what Gyökeres has had. Reinders has had 14. Foden has had 9. Marmoush has had 5. And Doku's had 4. So you can see it's no surprise when you just look at that how Haaland's got all these goals so far. And everyone's saying, "Oh, he's looking amazing," and he is. And it's credit to him, and it's credit to City playing that way to give him the opportunities. But it does feel a bit like it's Haaland or bust with them when you just look at that. Um, You got Liverpool. Liverpool kind of like us, I guess. They've had 102 shots, and 29 on target, and they got 13 goals. They're kind of similar stats to Arsenal, but Szoboszlai and Gakpo both had 16 shots. That's kind of like Gyökeres and Calafiori. Salah, which is a bit odd, he's only had 11. So when I've seen online people talking about, oh, he's fallen off a bit, it kind of shows there. And when you watch the Chelsea game as well, it looked like he wasn't even really playing the game. I forgot he was there. So, and then you got yeah, so you got Gravenberch fourth with 10, and this is like credit to Ekitike as well. He's fifth with 10 shots, but he scored quite a lot of goals, so he's quite decisive when he has a shot. And just to round off looking at some shooting stats, and then I'll go into what I feel after looking at that, going just a bit more info about it, is these are the players who've had more shots in Gyökeres so far this season. Mbeumo, Gakpo, Mateta, Semenyo, Wood, Bowen, Cunha, Evan Nielsen, and Richarlison. So I mean, we're top of the league. You think our striker would be up the top, but he's quite far down on the shooting stats. So it's, I mean, ultimately, I guess it's fourth time I said that. Now, what do I get from that? Is well, Haaland school has had double the amount of shots in Gyökeres has. So are we not getting the ball enough to Gyökeres, or maybe he's not finding enough chances to shoot? So that needs changing. We have two defenders in our top shooters. So is that a case of I know sometimes when I watch Arsenal play, we surround the box and trying to find an opportunity. And so I'll try and look out for it a few next times we play. But are we just in situations where defenders are going, "Oh, I've had enough of this," and just have a shot or something, or maybe FB ref are looking at headers. But just talking about Calafiori as well. It's mad how he just roams across all the pitches like a free all day travel card or something. Every game, he's just he's just everywhere all the time. So I'm now, earlier I said that was mad. He's second highest scorer, but when you watch our games, he's just all over the place. So he's like that sort of rogue player that I guess it's hard for a team to predict like what he's gonna do because he's all over the place. So maybe it's an advantage. Yeah, and I said for City are over relying on Haaland. That's what I get from that. So, I mean, I don't really care about talking about City's problems. I want to talk about Arsenal's problems. But yeah, I mean, we bought these attacking options to make changes, and if he's not getting loads of opportunities to shoot, then that's the expectation can't be, well, he's a crap like he's a crap player and he needs to do more. Well, we need to change where we play, like how City has done for Haaland this season. You know, how City before used to pass loads and try and find as many opportunities as they can before scoring like a really good goal. But at the moment, when I watch them play, they just try and kick it along to Haaland more times than not now. So it makes sense, those stats for them. But we can't have the same expectations for Gyökeres if we don't play to him like that. Um, but I mean, I guess I've seen us do a few balls over the top, but maybe we're not doing that enough. And and then maybe it's more on Gyökeres to get used to our harder league. Maybe we are giving him enough chances. 'Cause I didn't really look at other stats. I just look at shooting stats. So maybe it's on him a bit more, or maybe it's a bit of both. Maybe we need to create more, and he needs to do more. I mean, I guess also just to round off the video, really, I guess what would I do? Because if you ask me, okay, what would I do about changing it? Well, I wouldn't change too much at the moment because we're already really into the season, so I don't want to really rip up the playbook and then suddenly play like City are with Haaland because Haaland's been in that City for quite a while. Gyökeres has just joined. I don't want to create a situation where we're really relying on him and maybe he gets an injury, maybe it doesn't work, and then we're drawing or losing games because we're always just playing for Gyökeres to get the most amount of shots. I think the tweaks we can do is get stop getting defenders having shots. I mean, why are they in the top scorers? If you look at City, top scorers, top shooters, when you look at City and Liverpool, it's the midfielders or attackers that are in the top shooters, like top five shooters. That is not for us. We've got Calafiori and Timber in there. Now, if you look back at the games, I'm sure there's context about it, but just off stats alone, you think that needs changes. So maybe they need to be whipping balls into Gyökeres more. I don't know, something like that. Um, it's just, I mean, or if we, so that's like one change or to do, or it's just, or maybe try and just get some balls over the top more because they do stand out to me. I remember in the Leeds game when Calafiori done a ball over the top to Gyökeres and he kind of like pounced on it and he did run quite a bit far and then he cuts in, dribbles a bit more than scores. And then it was the same with Calafiori again, so he has been good at this. Gets it to Eze, I think in the Forest game, and Eze cuts it back to Gyökeres and we score. So I feel like maybe we should be trying to do that a bit more than trying to play about. So maybe like the midfielders. So maybe if we play like, I guess, what's his name? Odegaard. He's injured at the moment, so maybe getting Ranieri or Eze and some of these creative players more in the midfield against the likes of Fulham and Bournemouth. So, I mean, I understand we're playing City or Liverpool that you want to keep a bit more stable possession based in the midfield, but maybe if we get more attacking players in the midfield, they can be trying more long balls or try just in general, just trying to get balls over the top or through the lines to get Gyökeres more, so he's got more opportunities to shoot. Because as I felt when watching games, just not looking at stats, not looking at stats at all. How I felt is we're still kind of playing like Havertz is up top, but we've got Gyökeres there, and he's shown at Sporting he can get loads of goals. So we need to be finding him more, and I feel like we have been trying, but I feel like we could do it more after the international break. But just to round it off, I'll say ultimately again, it'll be the five times now. I hope it's five. Is I don't care who scores them really. It's like I said, Gabriel could score all the goals from corners and then we win the league. Great. But I feel like we had draws, lots of draws last season. We brought these attacking options in. One of them's a striker who's got around 100 goals this time at Sporting. So we need to be utilising him more. And if he's not shooting, if he's not getting chances to shoot, or maybe he needs to do better, then how's he going to get the goals to turn those draws into wins? All right, well, that's it. Hopefully, that wasn't a load of waffle. Thanks for watching.